Hi, my loves, and welcome to your deep stretch class. This is going to be a super good class to do if you've maybe taken it a little bit too hard at the gym, or if you've been doing a lot of running. If your body's feeling a little bit tight, this is going to be a really nice one to just release everything and kind of restore the body back to its kind of regular state. So when we're ready, we're actually going to get started in a wide leg forward fold. So just coming to take the legs out long. And starting here by just taking a second to check in with where the placement of the legs is. So it might be that if you're in a really open body that you've got the legs quite wide. If that's feeling like it's way too much, just taking those legs in slightly until you feel that little bit more comfortable. And starting by taking a nice wiggle through the toes, through the feet, maybe taking some rolls through the ankles. And we want to just grow tall from the crown of the head, so we're keeping everything engaged. And just starting here with the legs wide, taking hands maybe onto the knees or onto the thighs, just closing down through the eyes. And starting off by just noticing how the body's feeling. So just taking a quick scan. Noticing maybe the groin or the hip space, in particular the legs. How is everything feeling? So just taking those first few seconds of class here to focus in on the breath. And just taking a nice natural breath here. So we're not trying to change the breath or alter it, just welcoming that breath in exactly where it is. And just taking a releasing breath to start, so breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then when we're ready, gently fluttering open those eyes. And we're going to start by just flexing through the feet, so we want everything switched on here. And as we inhale, sweeping those arms up towards the sky. As we exhale, starting to fold forwards. And trying to keep the back as straight as possible. So you're going to start feeling that through the legs. And just taking the hands down to support. So we really want to keep the back nice and straight. So instead of going down towards the floor, we want this idea of moving forwards. So we're keeping everything lifted. And it might be that you take a cushion or a pillow underneath the seat to give you that little bit of lift. And that might help you with folding forwards. If you sit up, says coming onto my block, that's going to give you a little bit of help as you fold forwards. So when we get here, just reaching the arms out. Might be that you stay up on the fingertips. If you're working with a more open body, you might be nearer towards the ground. But as we rest here, just starting to undulate, so keeping those feet flexed, keeping everything active. So we inhale, seeing if maybe we can come up onto the fingertips. As we exhale, maybe we can fold down that little bit more. So just staying with those undulations, staying with that breath as you inhale, allowing the body to rise up slightly. As you exhale, folding forwards. So just taking a few more breaths here. Maybe you stay with the undulations. Maybe you pause. It's really your choice. So maybe it's stillness that the body's calling for. So just noticing sensations through the hamstrings, through the legs. Staying with the breath. Taking one more big breath in. As we exhale, slowly starting to pad those hands back towards you, just rising up. Might be that you stay up on the block or that you come down, making just a judgment call to where feels correct for you. And taking this left hand behind the left ankle, we're just going to inhale, sweep the right arm up and over. So we're opening out through the chest, taking that gaze up towards the right hand. Might be that that right arm comes all the way down and finds a grasp with the foot. But keeping that chest rotated up towards the sky, so drishti up towards the ceiling. Noticing that stretch through the right side body, taking a nice big breath in here. As we exhale, just switching over, coming to the other side. So right hand comes behind the right ankle, lifting up through that left arm as we inhale. Maybe finding the foot with that left hand and just rotating that chest up towards the sky. Keeping feet, legs nice and active. Taking one more inhale here. Exhale, just coming back through center. And when we arrive in the center position, we're just going to take the sole of the right foot in towards that left thigh. So we're coming almost towards what a Janu Shasana would be, but instead of the body facing over the left leg, we've got the body forwards. We're going to take the left hand behind us. And as we inhale, just peel that right arm up towards the sky. You're going to come onto the sole of that left foot, onto the right knee, top of the right foot, and we're just going to lift up, so stretching through that upper body as well. Option here to take that right hand behind the head, so we're almost cradling the head, to just twist that chest up towards the sky. So just taking one more big breath here, inhaling, exhale, and you might kind of peel and roll your way down, so keeping hand to head as you roll forwards. And then as we come back to seated, just taking this left leg, we're going to take the left knee on top of the right. So coming into a Gomukhasana. If you take yin, you might know this as shoelace. And taking a moment to wiggle here to find a seat. It might be again that you take a block or a small cushion underneath your seat. And the idea here is to forward fold, so we're closing out through the legs. But this can already be very intense Gomukhasana just here. So just take a moment to decide. It might be that simply staying seated, just resting the legs onto the knees feels like enough of a stretch. If you want to come into that forward fold, inhaling, just going tall through the chest, through the crown of the head, and as we exhale, starting to fold down. Again, keeping that back nice and straight, taking hands down to the floor for support. And it might be that once you get here, you can fold all the way down and release that head, just allow it to be heavy. So again, just noticing sensation, noticing the stretch, particularly through the glutes here, through the quads. And you might again undulate as well through this forward fold. So as you inhale, maybe you lift up onto those fingertips slightly. As you exhale, maybe you fold that little bit deeper. So wherever we are, just staying with that breath. And if at any point this Gomukhasana, if we're folded forwards, feels too intense, just allowing yourself to rise up, using those hands to help you. So maybe just sitting that little bit higher. Really just checking in with what works for you today. Not what might have worked yesterday, not what might work tomorrow, just what feels good in the moment. Just taking one more breath here wherever we are. As we exhale, gently peeling up. And slowly just untangle those legs. So taking the legs out long again. And then we're going to come to the other side. So this time taking sole of the left foot in towards that right thigh. Taking right hand behind us, and as we inhale, sweeping that left arm round, coming onto the sole of the right foot, coming onto the knee of the left leg, reaching that arm long, long line of energy, and then maybe you take that hand behind the head, cradling the head and just opening up through the chest that little bit more. Taking just one more big breath in here. As we exhale, hands on the head, keeping it there, just rolling the body back down, coming back through center. And then we'll come to Gomukhasana on the other side. So this time taking the right knee on top of the left. And again, taking a moment to settle in, working out placement of the feet. So it might be that the feet are quite near to the body. It might be that they're slightly further out. The further out they're going to be, the deeper this is going to be as you fold forwards. Just taking a second to pause, inhaling here. Exhale, folding forwards, keeping that back nice and straight. So as soon as we feel that back starting to round, just stopping, taking the hands down for that support. So rather than rounding, we want that idea again of moving forwards. Again, option to undulate here. So maybe you inhale, lift up slightly, come up onto the fingertips. Exhale, pad down that little bit more. Wherever we are, just staying with that breath. Taking one more inhale. Exhale ever so gently, starting to peel up. Untangling those legs. And we're going to spin round on the mat. Let's take soles of the feet together. And drawing soles of the feet as near to the groin as feels comfortable. We don't want to go too far. Might be that you stack pillows or blocks underneath the knees for this. Taking hands to the outside of the feet. When we're ready, inhaling, growing tall. Exhale again, just folding forwards, keeping that back nice and straight. So just staying with that breath, and it might be that the hands stay holding onto the feet. Maybe the hands come forwards. Just a few deep breaths here as we're opening up through that hip space. Taking one more inhale. Exhale, gently rise. Taking legs out long. I'm going to take the feet about hip distance apart. You might scoot the bum forward slightly and then coming down towards the back. So we're coming into a bridge. So you want to make sure that the feet are kind of near enough for the fingertips to touch as we're lying down. Feet hip distance apart. And we're just going to come into a bridge and hold it for a few breaths. So as we inhale, just pushing down through the soles of the feet, lifting up through the hips. And just pausing. Might be that the gaze or drishti just focuses on the belly. So rise and fall of the diaphragm. Remembering to just stay with that breath. A few more breaths here. We're keeping everything engaged, pushing those hips up towards the sky, pushing down through the feet. Taking just one more inhale here. Exhale, gently lowering those hips back down. And eventually drawing those knees in towards the chest, taking a rock from side to side here. So just noticing back connected with the mat. And then taking those arms out into a T or a cactus, depending on how much space you've got. Dropping knees over towards the left. And it might be that you simply stay here with the knees over to the left, head in the center. Or if you feel like it, dropping that head over to the right. So we're trying to keep that right shoulder grounded towards the mat. Option to deepen here by taking the left foot just on top of the right knee. And again, it might be that you deepen and then decide that it feels like it's too much, so you just switch over. So we're just neutralizing out through that spine. Just one more breath here, inhaling. Exhaling, untangling those legs. Drawing knees and head back through center and then switching over. So taking the knees over to the right, head over to the left. This time keeping that left shoulder as grounded as possible. An option again to deepen, this time by taking the right foot just on top of that left knee. We're starting to wind down, just allowing the body to feel as heavy as possible here, almost as if it's sinking towards the mat. You might close down through the eyes. Just taking one more inhale. Exhale, untangling those legs, drawing them back through center. And then just taking the feet a little bit wider than hip distance, so dropping knees together. So coming into restorative rest, you might rest the hands down onto the belly. Maybe you've got one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Just coming back to that breath. And I offer you here for our moment of rest to just take a second to feel into that stillness. Often the pause can bring up distractions. It can make the mind feel busy. So whilst we're here in this period of rest, this period that we allow ourselves to restore, I just invite you to imagine somewhere where you feel truly safe. So it might be a place, might be a particular person that makes you feel safe. Maybe it's simply a spot in nature that you return to. So whilst we pause here, just see if you can really imagine in your mind's eye that safe space. Any smells, sounds that you might associate with it. Just allowing yourself to drop in. And just being aware that this safe space resides within us. It's always there. So you always have the capacity within you to take a pause, to return to this space. Maybe it's a particular memory. So just allowing yourself that time now. So option to stay here that little bit longer. If you're ready to start to wind up the practice, it's taking wiggles through fingertips and toes, the outermost edges of the body. Maybe taking a stretch overhead and keep the eyes closed here. Then slowly just using those hands to help you start to come up to seated. Coming to a comfortable seated position. Taking hands, palms facing up on the legs or the knees. And taking these palms up as a sign of surrender. Surrendering to that practice. And we take a moment of gratitude just to say thank you here for taking the time for ourselves. We also say thank you to the amazing lineage of teachers that have come before us. Taking palms together, thumbs towards the third eye in between the eyebrows, dropping the chin down, taking one inhale. Exhale out through the mouth. Releasing those hands down, gently fluttering eyes open, just coming back to the space, back to the room. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. I hope that's a good class to come back to for whenever the body is feeling, a little bit stiff, a little bit tight. It's a nice releasing kind of flow. Lots of deep stretches in there. If you did like the class, please subscribe to the channel. There are new classes every week, and I hope to see you again here soon. Thank you.